happy early birthdays to both of you.
Thank you. There's a lot of people.
There's
in
a lot.
Aiden
group
that are September.
A lot of people in January.
I have it all on my calendar.
It's December.
Happy New Year.
The first week of July is insane.
You know, Christmas time and New Year's.
And it's,
maybe even
and
Hanukkah.
It's cold.
And people like to snuggle with their sweetie. I couldn't not think of, what was his name? Regis' kid?
Mingus. I didn't want to mention him because he just got arrested.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why I thought of it.
Norman shut down his social media after that happened.
Yep.
For like a couple days.
I'm sure people are harassing him.
We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing programs beyond the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, most times we go deep. I'm your host, David Cameo, and I'm joined by...
Cosmomom09, me.
Blazy Gardner.
It's been a while, Sharon D.
Yes, it has.
Bridget. You can find me at youtube.com/@PunkyBrewster. That's PUNKYBRUISETER.
And I'm Rob Lucchese. You find me on TikTok at Rob Stuff and Things, as well as YouTube at Rob Stuff and Things.
And if you're wondering why Rob's sitting here all like, I belong here. Well, he does, because he joined the Whisperers tier. And you could join the Whisperers tier too by heading on over to either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead and joining at least the Whisperers tier, if not the Survivors tier, where you can join us on screen, breaking down the episodes of your loving choice alongside us, like I keep saying. And now Rob did it, and so that's why he's here. And also, while you're at it, you can follow him on TikTok and follow him on his YouTube channel, which will show up at the end of every episode, as is his right, not by birth, but by subscription.
I paid my way in, guys.
It's exactly just like Bridget did a long time ago, and look where she is now.
That's true.
And if you're wondering why we're here, it's because we're breaking down the season 3 premiere of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon, titled Costa Da Morte, which is interesting because it's a mixture of French and Spanish.
Otherwise known as Portuguese. It is technically a blending.
Besides the Portuguese thing.
They're close-ish.
On the map?
Together? I don't know.
Give
us the history. I'm sure you looked it up, you punk. That's why you're proposing this whole question.
That's why he's making us look dumb first, so he can be like, well, actually, guys.
Well, I have the answer all along. I just want to see if you had it.
Portugal has a deep historical tie to navigation and maritime. Henry the Navigator was from Portugal, and he was responsible for navigating a good bit of the European and African coast way before anybody else did.
Was I right? Write this down.
No, not at all. Actually,
write this down.
You went too far, Sharon D. All I was thinking was this episode brought up a lot of themes of saying goodbye and learning to live life while you're alive. Throughout the episode, Daryl and Carol finally talk about what they experienced in the Chunnel, and whereas they had not, they were silent throughout their entire journey until now. And part of that was learning to let go of loss and grief. And there are themes that keep popping up that remind us of that fact. And so I think the show in its own way was kind of saying goodbye to France. Because for the last 2 years, they were in France. They developed a rapport for the crew that they had assembled to be walkers, and the geography, the production, all of that, having relationships with Mont Saint-Michel and all that stuff, and filming there for 2 seasons, things like that. So, you develop kind of like I think it's like a love letter to France, basically. In the process of, in the same name, we're transitioning to Spain.
Well, that makes sense.
Chunnel sounds like a dirty word.
Use it in a sentence.
I don't want to.
I command you. Now that I say that, why would you?
I'm really not going to do it.
That was gross.
It's her fault. She's made it gross. I think she made it gross. We all kind of went, oh yeah, it's Chunnel. That makes sense.
Well, Chunnel
just sounds dirty.
It's broken glass now. Now we're all thinking the same thing.
Are we?
Yeah, I think we are. Unfortunately. As is custom, how does the title of this episode, besides the little stupid thing I just mentioned now, relate to what we just watched?
I think you hit the nail on the head with combining French and Spanish, going from one to the other with the crew and stuff like that. In terms of the episode as a whole, not being able to escape the coast, it's sending you right back all the way just onto a different country.
You're saying that you can't escape death?
Yeah, I would say so.
Just putting words in his
Yeah.
mouth.
Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes I need that. It's okay.
Would you like some real information, Dave?
Absolutely.
Always.
Did you take this note?
Sick burn.
Or did you like, I just looked it up now.
Just
Just
found
went to
it.
Chat GPT.
No, I didn't.
So
So
to
it's
Google Gemini?
the Coast of Death, even though technically you would say Death Coast. Anyway, Coast of Death is Galician or Galician,
Or Galicia.
also known as
That's how they pronounce
Gallego
it.
for Coast of Death, is a Western Ibero-Romance language, and around 2.4 million people have at least some degree of competence in the language, mainly in Galicia, an autonomous community located in northwestern Spain, where it is the official language along with Spanish. You're welcome. The language is spoken in some border zones of the neighboring Spanish regions of, I'm going to butcher all of these, Asturias and Castile and Leon, as well as Galician migrant communities in the rest of Spain in Latin America, including Argentina, Uruguay, and Puerto Rico, the United States, Switzerland, and elsewhere in Europe. Fun fact.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Didn't know Galician was so prominent.
And this is why I like listening to you guys, because I always learn things that I otherwise wouldn't have looked up.
Education, we'll tie in the budget.
I'm going to force you to learn things.
I'm going to shove it in your face.
Sometimes that's what you got to do.
Arguable. And here is a little screen grab of the hiking trails at the coast where Daryl and Carol landed too. You can even see very clearly like the different difficulty levels. Right. And the big thing I wanted to note was that what you were just saying earlier, Bridget, was that it's in the northwest of España.
España? Yes.
España.
I can't do this all season. I can't do
Sure
this
you
with
can,
you all
Bridget.
season.
Sure you can. Sure you can. You take it like a man. Or not. It's okay. You have freedom of choice.
I'm leaving.
You have to learn how to say goodbye. Any other takers for the title relating to this episode?
Yes. It's the way some of the coasts look in the show. They look very bleak and bony, especially at the beginning. We see the white cliffs of Dover in England, and you see a lighthouse, which many ships have sunk on that coast. That's why there's a lighthouse there. When they get to the beach in Spain with all of the boulders, it just looks very skeletal on the beach, very bony, and it's very devoid of color and bleak. So I thought maybe that had a little bit to do with it.
Is craggy like a good word for that?
I think craggy is more like
Is that like
Rocks.
jagged?
sharp, jagged rocks. Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, as my name says, Julian died on the beach. Rip Julian.
Yeah.
Played by the funny Stephen Merchant.
I was so sad that he only lasted an episode.
Me too.
Typical.
I'm angry that he only
Typical.
lasted one episode. Why bring
Yeah.
someone like him on and then kill them off in one episode?
Half an episode.
I was
Not
very
even
mad.
a
I will tell
full
you-
episode.
I
There
was
is an
gonna say,
actual reason.
yeah,
You saw it too, right?
yep.
The actual reason is if you did look at the episode or insider, we coined this term from Bridget. We have to credit Bridget every time. Greg Nicotero really wanted Stephen Merchant. They contacted him and he said, I'll do it so long as I could die in the same episode. he said
Oh,
that
he
was his
didn't-
condition.
He didn't want like a long
No.
run.
No, exactly.
They probably would have kept him otherwise.
He could have died eventually.
Right, so
but, like,
I have
the
to be
same
mad at
episode?
Stephen Merchant
Come on.
instead.
Well, his exact wording was, "I can only give you one episode."
yeah.
So
Oh.
they wrote him off. So
Which is already
Okay.
like, it's a 2-week commitment at the high end too. Because you remember how we talked about this with a couple directors and showrunners and stuff like that, especially when it came to Fear the Walking Dead. Their turnaround schedule was very rigid. You get 2 weeks tops, sometimes 11 days.
I don't withdraw my complaint because I'm still mad that he died in the first episode, but I don't blame the show now. It's Stephen
Well, see, here's
Merchant's
the thing.
fault.
I felt the same as you guys. That when I heard that factoid, I was like, okay, this makes me feel a little bit better.
But you know what? We're all
we got what we
we're
could out
all
of him.
looking to blame somebody, just like they did in the show, right?
Just like they did in Britain,
Yep.
sealing off
all looking to
Westminster.
blame
and-
somebody.
Let me go back to what you said about the Cliffs of Dover and the Seven Sisters. This was also mentioned in the episode or Insider. Some of the drone footage that they took of the coasts. What's interesting about the Seven Sisters, just to using that one reference point, if you actually look up the Chunnel exit on the England side, then map where the Seven Sisters is, you see Carol and Daryl taking a very long roundabout route along the coast, by the way, to Seven Sisters rather than going straight to London. They kind of wanted to get the drone footage and the scenery, you know, like the production photos and and the B-roll that they needed for that sequence of them walking, rather than going directly to the very unscenic route of going directly to London, because it is very unscenic because I've taken it.
Mm.
All the way straight to Westminster, where they ended up, by the way.
It gives you a sense of grandeur when they do a big sweeping shot like that over the
Sure.
cliffs and
Mhm.
everything. It kind of builds your expectations.
Like they did with season 2. Even before season 2 was a thing, when they showed the last episode of season 1 with the Carol reveal and whatever at the end, they showed like an early teaser for the second season. They did the same thing, sweeping shots of Daryl in the countryside and whatnot. It was cool. Obviously, same deal, same energy. So yeah, of course I let it pass. I just think it's a funny thought going all the way around the coast. There is a parallel to this. I remember when we were talking about the beginning, or maybe it was the end of season 1, but
I think it's season 1.
yeah, Daryl
Yeah.
traveling to Mont Saint Michel, he took the coastal route to get there.
Well, I think some of it is maybe like a natural inclination to be near water when
'Cause it's
traveling,
safer?
because it helps you to kind of keep your bearings. For instance, on the ocean and there's only water, it's kind of hard to keep your bearings. And you would want to avoid cities. That's the other thing, because they're going to be more populated and then you run the risk of running into more dead.
Once they got into London and they were on the street and all the walkers started to come out, it felt very much like episode 1 with Rick in Atlanta. When he
The
was starting to
tank
get
and
swarmed.
everything outside the
Mhm.
checkpoint.
Yep, and them starting to get swarmed. And it also, once they got into the building and were surrounded for days, it had a lot of parallels to Dawn of the Dead when they were trapped in the mall. And it just felt like a George Romero zombie flick at that point.
Mm.
Especially once they saw the reflection coming from Julian's, wherever he was, and them signaling another
Oh.
survivor. Like,
Yes.
it felt very much like an old George Romero
You
Dawn of
mean
the Dead.
2000?
The remake?
Yeah, the remake.
The
I'm
I
like,
will
what
include
year
the
was
remake
that?
because they had the guy in the gun store, but same vibe.
Yeah.
That was also used in Fear the Walking Dead, the flashing
Yep.
light in season 1 when Chris saw the light flashing in the building outside of the safe zone.
Yes. So I do want to mention that Julian, this whole being stuck in the the posh apartments,
Mhm.
there's also some Easter eggs kind of referencing the video games.
Telltale's The Walking Dead.
The use of the bells is something that happens in season 1, episode 4 of the Telltale Walking Dead games. The episode's entitled Around Every Corner. There's a character that's introduced named Molly. Previous to that, you see her in the background, but she's just like a flash of like a silhouette of a body, like in the background. And you're like, who is that? That's terrifying. She maneuvers typically on the tops of buildings if she can, but she rings church bells to move the walkers around the city so that she can get to where she needs to go. And
I'm
so
glad you remember that.
when Julian rings the bells, it immediately popped in my head. I was like, oh, it's like the Walking Dead game. So
And even Daryl admits, so smart.
it is smart. So it's a clever story device that we haven't seen yet in the TV show.
An opportunity, right? Where is it, technically? In
Mhm.
Virginia, I'm sure there are church bells, etc. Georgia, perhaps.
It was in
There was a
Savannah,
fake one in
Georgia.
season 2. There was
Oh,
a
yeah.
fake church bell in season 2 when they were looking for Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
But it wasn't used in that way.
I've mentioned this on the podcast at least twice. The theme of the sole last survivor in a city is kind of reminiscent of, it's a film in the English language, but it takes place in Paris, France. It's When Day Eats Night, or was it Night Eats Day?
Yeah, it's a good
I'll look it
movie.
up.
But I will say it reminds me even more of
The Night Eats World. That's what it is.
28
Sorry.
Days Later,
Oh, yeah.
which actually happens in London. The beginning of it, I know it was referenced a lot at the very beginning of The Walking Dead starting, because the parallel between The Walking Dead comic books, the first episode of the TV show, shot for shot basically from the comic book, and 28 Days Later's probably first 30 minutes ish.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
almost identical. A man waking up by himself in the hospital, has no idea what's going on.
I thought you were talking about The Night
running
Eats
into people.
World, by the way.
No.
Okay.
No, but
Which is
the
in 2018.
apartment reminded me of the apartment from that movie.
I think there was even the light flashing trick, and it's the idea that he's surrounded by the dead, and the 2nd he
Mhm.
peeks his head out and makes a single bit of noise, that they kind of come out like they're kind of fast zombies. I highly recommend it. Again, it's in English, but it takes place in Paris, and there was some French and translation stuff like that. But 2018 zombie film directed by Dominique Rocher.
We've talked about it before.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's good to refresh the audience. You'll feel the vibes from that very apartment. It's obviously very much French looking, and obviously they are filming in Spain. The backdrop is all CGI. They made a London facade in a street in Spain. I forget exactly which city. or maybe even in Galicia.
I felt like I had seen those screenshots. You know, when everybody was sending all those screenshots around, they're filming in Spain. And I was like, you monsters, why would you ruin this for me?
Yeah, stop ruining it.
It did look like that shot of them walking down
But
the
they said
street
it in Spanish
at the very
in the
beginning.
tweet, right?
I don't know, Dave. Everyone was reposting them. They're in love and they're in Spain. And I'm like, ugh, barf. Stop.
No, they're hugging. Why is Carol half naked?
When you were talking about the other show or movie, you mentioned fast zombies. Did you guys feel like these walkers were a little more active? I feel like they moved a little faster. I felt like they ran faster in some cases.
Either that has to do with the variants of the wildfire virus.
When they were in the alley or something, the squids were trying to get to them. It was like they were a little bit under the level of the ones in France when they got shot up with the go juice.
I especially noticed the difference in the speed, specifically in the walker that had hung himself from the chandelier when he fell
I see.
and then came after Daryl. It looked like he was very quick. He was like almost running, it seemed like.
And Julian was quite fast.
Oh, as
he
a
was.
walker.
Oh, as
Yeah.
a yeah.
Yeah.
Not as a
He was
living person,
also
no.
just died though, so there's also that aspect.
Yeah,
True,
I know.
true.
I know. That other
Less
one had not, though. That
deterioration.
one had been
Yeah.
dead for a while. The chandelier one.
Yes and no.
I was thinking the same thing.
The first thing I noticed was if he had been hanging there for a really long time, he would have fallen apart. His
Sure.
neck would have
Yeah.
sucked
Okay,
I was
right
that's
in.
thinking
fair.
the same thing, or
That's
that with
fair.
all the wiggling,
Yeah.
that chandelier or the rope would have given.
Yeah. Now,
Okay,
granted,
that's
he
fair.
He
saw
wasn't still.
people and he did begin wiggling more.
You saw a walker fall apart in front of Daryl on the street.
Yeah.
Just his head just popped off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his head just
He
came off. It's like
didn't-
with minimal
Yep.
force. Well, I don't know
Yeah.
about minimal,
That
but
tree
it
walker,
just didn't seem like a lot.
the tree had grown and taken his head with it, and it was like, oh,
Those were cool.
that was
That's pretty rad.
awesome.
Well, but going back to your chandelier walker, that's what I was thinking too. It's a mirror kind of like for Julian. You last this long and it's like you don't see any people. Julian never came to this guy and did the mirror thing and then dropped in from the balcony. For all he knew, he was the last man on earth.
Yeah.
And he looked more fresh than the others. Did you feel that too? That's kind of where my head was at.
Yes, but
He
he,
looked
also
darker, but-
he was also in a building. He didn't have the opportunity for nature to grow around him. I don't want to say preserved.
Well, even compared
but-
to the other walkers in the apartment, he did look a little fresher.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, but that doesn't make a ton of sense because why would you hang yourself if there's two zombies just loose in your apartment?
Well, what if Carol and Daryl opened some of the doors and they just came in?
It follows them directly from the door, so
It's also possible those people had died and he said, I can't live with myself anymore, and hung himself.
And maybe it was very
maybe.
recent.
And they hadn't reanimated yet.
He also probably wouldn't have even cared if they found him like that. Maybe he died last and first. I don't know. It could be any combination of the three.
Well, he
It's
didn't
a story
just
for us to
die.
write ourselves, I guess.
No.
Well,
He's dead
see-
for at least a little while.
Right. Well, and he was hanging. That was definitely not natural causes.
No.
We're already like past the 11 seasons of The Walking Dead and a couple of spin-offs later, but when they walked through the apartment, and I know just from my own personal experience, when they're doing location scouting, on more than one occasion, they went to my apartment to find like a very asshole looking apartment at the time when I was living in Greenpoint. I know that when they looked for this apartment, they wanted to find an apartment that looked very British, maybe a British expat in Spain, to look the most British apartment ever. And so for the first time when they walked in to the apartment, I was thinking to myself, oh, all these little knickknacks and set pieces and stuff like that. It's so interesting that they're trying to tell a story just with the visual components that are in the scene. And I don't want that to go underappreciated. I know that they have this sort of situation going throughout The Walking Dead, but things are moving so fast. People are dying. You don't really get a chance to really kind of appreciate the fact that you can tell a story based on those elements alone. And then you add the people or walkers in the scene and you can develop it even more. And I just thought that was an interesting touch.
It was a thing that I always thought maybe I could do after I got my degree in interior design was like set design. It is so cool how much detail there is in everything for you to see it for 2 seconds.
Makeup's the same way.
Yeah.
Spend
Yeah.
4 hours on a piece and you see it for a split second as the camera like pans across. You're like,
Or then
I
having
did
to touch it
that."
up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blood spurts from a neck. Onward and upward. We're done with that scene.
That was great, guys. Let's do it one more time. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Well, that's life. It's a mandala effect.
Yeah.
You make these mandalas of sand,
Oh,
these little
yeah.
beautiful sand
Not
paintings.
Mandela.
And then you,
I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, what?
I was effing with
Wait a
you.
minute, I've never heard. That's the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you wipe the mandala away, and that's how it
That's when
goes.
you remember the mandala you made differently.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's not what I made, but it actually is what you made.
Yeah.
You just don't
No,
remember
he's
it.
talking about Mancala, the game. It's when you remember playing it differently as a kid.
This is like my she's effing with me face. Wait, what? Maybe she's right. Anyway, on the boat, Daryl is having this sort of flashback. It's very brief.
Oh, it's like for a split second. Yeah.
Now we know why he's thinking it, because immediately afterwards he talks to Carol. Do you think Laurent made it? Right, but I kind of want to talk about the greater significance of that scene or that thought that he's having. If you don't know what I'm talking about, these are like some very, very rapid fire shots of this concept. I'm going to show it on
do you
the
have
screen.
screenshots? Yes.
I do.
Great. I love that because it's so fast.
Yeah, it was quick.
Really only saw the kid with like the sign in the background.
That's
and
all I saw too.
I didn't
Yeah.
even see a sign. I saw a kid and the like feet running. That was all. That's all I can
the feet
remember.
running.
That's all I remember.
Yeah. Good call. Okay,
Yep.
so this is the first flash that you get, and obviously it looks like a trailer park, but like obviously in the 70s, maybe even late 60s. Let's
No,
say.
we have less money, Dave, when you live in a trailer park. So
Well, look at the
Use older
station
stuff.
wagon that's parked there. It looks kind of late
Okay.
70s, maybe early 70s.
I was also
Say, like-
thinking like campground.
No,
it's well,
It's a trailer park.
It's a trailer
Yeah.
park. But yes, sometimes people just have a camper. That's
Mhm.
their trailer. You could push for early 80s, Dave.
Yeah, I don't disagree. My friend growing up had almost the same model Lincoln station wagon where we all piled into the back without seatbelts facing the other way
Oh, yeah.
at the people behind the car.
Mhm.
My great grandparents had that car, but it was tan.
I see. We drove in that color, the wood panel trunk and the navy blue, and the sides too. But when more of us came out of our respective mothers' wombs, there were too many kids. So they put the entire thing flat. And we all just like wiggled around in like
Loosely.
highway traffic
Mhm.
with no seatbelts, just playing games in the back. You know,
Yeah,
just-
you lived. You're fine.
yeah, we're okay. It was dicey. A couple of drives.
It was a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. What you can see, though, clearly, as opposed to not very clearly, is the license plate. Now, I did a tiny bit of digging. The license plate on the station wagon itself on the bottom right is green lettering with a white or cream background.
Mm-hmm.
And it's B as in boy 11739. I don't know what state that is. The closest I could figure was maybe Georgia, maybe North Carolina, but more on the North Carolina side, looking up at old license plates.
It does kind of look similar to the old first in flight plates.
Old Florida license plates, I think, were green and white.
Yeah, and some of the commercial license plates also had that type of where there's like a space between the first letter or the first few letters and the rest of the
Yeah.
numbers, as well as the commercial license plates all had, generally among many states, had the green lettering with the white background. Georgia in particular, though, would have a big either the peach state at the top or in big Georgia at the top.
I don't think it matters too much because people have different plates and don't switch them when you move. The fact of the matter is that if this is young Daryl, which is who I
That's
assume
the
it is.
discussion we're having now.
If it's
right?
young Daryl, then this is Georgia. Him and Merle grew up in Georgia. They were country boys. They never left.
Mhm.
Right.
Yep.
I was just wondering because were they always in Georgia? Yeah, I don't know.
No, yes, they were.
Daryl
He
says it in
said-
season 4.
Yep, he says
Yep.
he's never been outside Georgia.
I think the more telling part of this is the dead end sign. Like, I mean,
Well,
a little,
yeah.
it's on
Obvious.
the nose, right? It's, but that
Correct.
that I think is what you're supposed to focus on is the dead end sign.
Not us. We focus on everything.
There's an American
speaking-
flag back there. I'm just kidding.
Well, you'll get to see it a lot
There is,
better
but
in the
it
next
means
frame,
nothing.
actually.
Okay.
So first you see this. Can you see this? Yeah, you can. And this is like the first frame of the second
Oh man,
as I go
this
back
is
to
good casting for a split
Yeah, I was
second.
about to say.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a Spanish actor.
And well, if it's supposed to be Daryl, that's
Is
I-
it
As a
supposed
young
to
boy,
be
that's
Merle?
pretty
feel
good.
Like it
He
could-
kinda
it could be
looks like-
I don't
Merle.
know.
So that's the discussion I wanted to have.
Yeah.
Because and
okay.
what he says is basically gotta go now. Daryl runs away from home. Like he said, I was really young when this all happened. We're not going to get into the timelines, but it's roughly 13 years at this point, because he's been in France for I don't know how, God knows how long. It was like 3 months after he left. We're not going to get into this, but I'm just like, it feels like it was about 3 months after he left when Carol finally went after him, and then because he never came back. And then however long it took for Carol to get to him, to rescue him, and for Laurent and Ash to head back to America, purportedly, which is the hope that he's having when he's having these thoughts. So I would give them a year max, maybe.
God, that just opened up a whole bunch of other questions in my mind about other things, but
about it being 17
like,
PDI on the Walking Dead Dead City.
Yeah.
And how long it's going to take for them to catch up.
Not only that, that'll also imply because Michonne found Rick, a year after she left, and then got back pretty quickly. And that means he left. And then within that 3 months, Rick came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, a year after Michonne left in some months.
How quickly.
Yeah.
And we still technically don't know who Carol was trying to tell him was back.
She said her visions were back or something like that last season.
Yeah.
Her trauma was coming back up over Sophia.
Do you think that was what she was telling him over the radio? It's just
Sophia's
weird.
back is what she says to Daryl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because he directly asked her, he says, you said someone was back, and she says that, and I was like, that's a cop-out.
Yeah.
Like, that
It
could have
is.
been so big.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. That's so vague.
We're not going to relitigate. So what's the consensus here, though?
I would say it's
do we think this is Merle?
I'm voting for Merle. I think that looks more like Michael Rooker.
Honestly, it could be either one.
Yeah,
Well, you're
it really
seeing it from Daryl's point of view, so I would say that it would
Right.
be Merle. And you said he's
Yeah.
saying gotta
That's
go.
possible, yeah.
Didn't Daryl say that Merle left him behind? Like that was something when they
Yes.
were talking
Well, yeah.
that he was like,
Yes.
"You left me behind," and he was like, "I had to
Yes.
go." So I think that is
Yeah.
definitely Merle.
Yes.
So who said gotta go is Daryl to him. And actually the subtitles say this. It's Daryl and then brackets thinking, gotta go now.
Interesting. I was
Yeah,
going to say
right?
he's got a black eye and a bloody lip. And that was the thing, was their dad used to beat on them.
Mhm.
And Merle would take the lion's
But
share
Merle
of the
took
beatings.
the brunt of it. So,
Well, let's be more traumatized with this very next frame,
okay.
or flash, I should say, from the flashback. And it's Merle screaming at Daryl. Isn't that heartbreaking? Because we had
This-
mentioned this when it came to talking about Caudron and his brother, and how there was an opportunity for Daryl to say, I know what you're going through. But like, he didn't do that.
Mhm.
And here they're purposely bringing up, finally, there's a thing that I don't think he's fully processed with Merle. I mean, I think he appreciated the fact that he came back for him and wrote a lot of wrongs, but
All right,
I think there's still a little bit of processing.
I'm going to do this thing that we do. I don't know if I'm seeing the same thing you guys are. First of all, I think I missed this particular flash because I don't remember seeing this face.
Well, to
but-
be fair, I didn't see this face.
It's
in
fast.
It was
Yeah,
so
it's
fast.
very fast.
Yeah, it was so fast.
But to me, this doesn't look like someone angry. This is
no.
a sad. Look at the position of his eyebrows. If he were angry,
Mhm.
his eyebrows would be furrowed and down.
Mhm.
Instead, they're up. This is sadness. He's
This is
screaming.
almost like
Well, he's
this
pleading.
is agony.
Yeah, pleading.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is agony, not anger.
In the moment, yes. But afterwards, I'm sure Merle was angry at Daryl for leaving him, for all the beatings that he took
No, you're
all those years.
what? No,
no.
no.
Merle left.
Daryl.
Merle left, not
I
Daryl.
thought Daryl
Yeah.
left.
No, Merle
Daryl
left.
would run away from home and hide in the woods, but he ended up coming back, and his dad never noticed him. That's what he always
Right.
said. Because he doesn't mention Merle during that, we're led to believe that that's in the time in which Merle had left.
Oh, okay.
And that
So then-
Daryl would run away from home periodically during that time and just camp out in the woods. That's why he's so good at being in the woods and living out there.
So then maybe it isn't Merle. Maybe
Well,
it's Daryl.
And I feel like there was a specific time where, and maybe multiple times where Merle went to juvie or jail.
Oh,
That's a good point, too.
Yeah, he
So then that
definitely
could be
did
it.
after he was 18, but I don't know about juvie. Potentially.
Yeah.
I mean, they got in trouble as
Yeah.
kids.
I guess the main reason why I brought all of this up is because I kind of hope we get to see more of this. It's kind of like the William T. Dixon grave that we found in France
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
season.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And
Well,
things
again-
like this are kind of cool.
This is memory recollection, which like this gives us like a murky area because they said
No pre-apocalypse flashbacks, right?
pre-apocalypse.
But this is how you remember things.
Yeah. So this is murky. You can like maybe make this work.
You know what it is.
You can see Scott Gimple being like, I'll
Not a
allow
flashback,
this. I'll allow this. Don't go any further.
Oh, Scott Milhouse. Gimple. Anyway,
Thank you for grabbing screenshots of that because I did not see all of that.
I figured you guys would appreciate it just because
Definitely.
it's just super interesting to see that again. It's that whole point of view of look at the thought that went into this, or at least the location scouting. Look at all the junk on the screen that I put on earlier, but you can't see now, but it's still on my screen. There's a rotating fan in the background. There's a small refrigerator that the fan is on. There's a green and white cooler in the bottom right that is of the era, or at least maybe 10 or 20 years prior.
There was a plastic kiddie pool on the side.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, I can't obviously capture that one thing that you did remember, which was that kid running away. And like it was blurry too, but he was running away. It's the only thing you could kind of remember from that scene besides the shouting.
The hot dogs.
Okay.
The hot dogs kept coming up.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't go there yet. Here is my first screenshot of the hot dogs. The can says, "Ye ancient," and whatever it is. So I thought that was kind of funny. Ye ancient hot dogs.
That is funny.
Canned hot dogs. Such a weird thing to make.
It's a British thing, yeah.
But it's a thing that remained post World War I and II. And this is something that we talked about in, well, not only Daryl Dixon season 1, I think it was, but also The Walking Dead World Beyond. I think when it came to talking about Lieutenant Colonel Kublek, because she had all these wartime posters from World War I and II from the British. We talked about canning and the U.S. sending canned goods to the British to kind of replenish their stocks. And we're going to be talking about it again in this episode. There's a small tongue-in-cheek reference that Stephen Merchant shows as they're toasting to America.
Was it keep calm and
Bugger off was what he said.
I thought it was motor on.
It's keep calm and carry on is the original
Right.
saying, but that's not what he said.
Well, here is the other screenshot of the can of hot dogs. It's the 2 days later. Daryl went through this place 10 times over, didn't find much of anything, but they're not going to starve. They have enough. And she's looking at the hot dogs thinking, is this the last meal? And ye ancient dogs. But if you look at this screenshot, that can looks very banged up
yes.
and moldy, like crusty and on the outside, like bubbly, which is never a good sign.
My first thought was that they threw that in there for the carolers. Carol and Daryl.
You need to elaborate on that. You have to say the thing out loud. What do you mean by that? I don't know what you mean by that.
Sharing wieners, of course.
I'm gonna barf.
It did make me think of that one expression of, "Oh, she's so loose. It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway."
Oh my God.
Rob, it was a different time. It wasn't even my time.
I've heard that before, of course.
Why? You're so young and precious. Angel baby
Young?
Rob.
I wish.
Well, he's only a little younger than us, actually. Well, there's that. Maybe. But living life while you're still alive, or Julian Chamberlain says it in the episode as well. I spent so much time saving and preparing, and then the thing happened, and I didn't get to save and prepare for the thing that I wanted, which is probably a person to settle down with. Carol is doing the same thing. I'm saving this one thing for a special occasion when you never know when your ticket gets punched. And Daryl's sort of doing the thing with the scotch. He's like, more scotch. Let's have more scotch. Who cares if it runs out? Okay, we'll find more. Maybe. Probably. Who cares if we don't? There's two competing themes here.
Doesn't sound like they're going to run out of scotch.
That's sort of what I think. But as Julian says, they could. If you live a long life, they could. Eventually, they'll be the last scotch ever.
Oh, sure.
Unless you make it.
Several times over, they talk about, they're like, oh, do we have more of this? And Carol's like, and Daryl,
Nope.
Well, we've got more scotch. More scotch than tea. More scotch
it's the
than,
never-ending scotch.
Whatever. Yeah.
And yet she's saving the hot dogs.
How glorious would it be to find a jar of sugar after all that time?
Which she does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Although it bothered me so much that she licked her dirty fingers and stuck it in there.
I think
What
that
doesn't
stuff
kill
just
you
wouldn't.
makes you stronger.
It wouldn't bother you.
I know.
In the apocalypse. I don't think.
Apocalypse-wise, no. But as a viewer watching, I'm like, oh, please wash your hands, Carol.
She'll wash them afterwards. It's fine. It's fine.
She could have just rinsed them off with the
Daryl
scotch.
finding the taffy. It's like,
Yeah. I love that
what
Daryl.
are the odds you would find that?
He saved a piece of
Does
taffy.
taffy
Cool dry
not go
place.
bad
For
after
Carol.
17 odd years?
I don't know if it would go bad, but I bet it would have been hard.
It goes
It would've been
hard.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might break a tooth. I love how Daryl saved
be
a piece
worth
of
it.
taffy for Carol, but Carol didn't tell him about the sugar.
Well, because she stuck her saliva finger in there.
She walked away and left it open on the counter. I was like, you're wasting it. Cover it back up.
She's saving the hot dogs, but not the sugar. Priorities. But I wonder if this theme will come up a lot in the season, because often the first episode lays the groundwork for what we're expected to see. Did Laurent make it? That may be a theme that comes up. Why do we save certain things but don't save others? Should we? And like many things in this series, both nuggets of wisdom could be true. Maybe you could save things for a special occasion, but maybe we should live while we're alive. Julian Chamberlain.
The sugar reminds me of when Carol was creepy Carol in Alexandria when they first joined and she was baking the cookies. You remember she goes to look for sugar?
Yeah.
And she can't find it. And that's why she does the beets.
Yep.
That's why the cookies end up being pink. And then she's at a point now in her life where like she finds sugar and she just leaves it open and walks away. It's just like very different.
You got to think that they probably have more sugar at Commonwealth, right?
Oh, yeah, I guess because they make ice cream. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm like baffled by because I'm like, where?
Who's refining it?
Factories
Who's,
are running.
who's growing
There
cane
could
sugar?
be a sugar cane operation going
Corn.
on down in the Caribbean still.
Wherever they're getting their coffee beans
Right,
from.
wherever they're getting their coffee
Yeah.
from.
There's a whole world we haven't explored in that arena. Like where is the slavery occurring to make this coffee? Can we start there?
While we're in that little area with Carol, I do want to say that her fire extinguisher kill was really awesome too. It just popped. That was great.
Although, Bridget, I'm talking to you because I think she would say this if she was unmuted. She would say, but you have to replace fire extinguishers every number of years because they stop working.
You do. I don't know that they stop working. They claim that they're not as
Fire
effective.
retardant?
Because we have to pay like an insane amount of money to get them
Recharged.
redone. Yeah.
Maybe they're getting fresh fire extinguishers where they're getting their coffee and their sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
It could just be a government scam for more money because the city has to come in and check to make sure that the fire hydrants work. And then conveniently every 3 years, they're saying that they need something done. So,
Well, the way to test that is to start a fire when one's expired and try to use it.
it's true.
This is why I invited Bridget to answer that question further. And Rob just made it sweeter. Love it. I love it. So they cheers to America. And Stephen Merchant says just this very quick quote that comedian Tommy Trinder said about Americans: oversexed, overpaid, and overhere.
I beg to differ on the overpaid.
That was
Yes,
a
that's
World
right.
War II saying from when our men were stationed in Britain. And let's just say that we were Americans.
Well, let me elaborate on that because I did do a little bit more research. Obviously, they were a little tongue-in-cheek British way of making fun of Americans. The original quote is actually not from Tommy Trinder, but the original quote, equally making fun of Britain, underpaid, undersexed, and under Eisenhower. Going back to the Americans, the sad tale of this joke is that at the end of World War II, Britain was in a sad, terrible state. No money, no food in many parts of England, London in particular. And what had ended up happening is many girls went into the oldest profession. And because the American men had so much money to go around, I'm not saying that was the lion's share of their economic boom, but I'm not saying it was. So that's where the joke comes from. Oversexed, overpaid, and overhere. Because they're making
Gotcha.
British babies, maybe also.
Definitely did happen.
Yeah, that's where the phrase boomers came from.
Yep.
Moving on. Does anybody want me to go through the squid Cockney rhyming
Yes.
path again?
Yes.
Yes, please. Because I was like, how did we get to quid and why is that squid? But yeah.
Okay, so it is an extreme version of it that probably doesn't actually make sense nor exist, but it might as well be. But is everybody familiar with this Cockney rhyming thing
Yes.
where
Yes.
things are named
The
certain
one
things?
I know
Nope.
the most is trouble. If you're in trouble, you say you're in Barney because Barney rubble, trouble. You're in Barney.
I just looked up a quick reference of common Cockney things. When you say apples and pears, they're referring to stairs. Example, I'm going up the apples or going up the pears. Trouble and strife, wife. Example, the trouble and strife is waiting for me.
Oh, God.
Dog and bone is one of the phrases he mentioned in the route to getting squid, phone. Example, I'll give you a bell on the dog. Anywho, a bell on the dog. I'll give you a ring on the phone. Bell on the dog.
Okay.
Anyway, I know I had the same reaction. Butcher's hook, look. Example, give us a butcher's at that. So like, let me look at that. And here's another example. Plates of meat is one of the phrases that he said. Plates of meat equals feet. Example, my plates are killing me after that walk. Let me do the whole thing now. I'm abbreviating too, by the way, so it makes more sense. Departed souls, souls of feet, plates of meat, meat pie, dog's eye, dog bone, phone your mate, china plate, so china, plate and cup of rosy equals Rosie Lee equals tea. By the way, that's that whole cup of rosy tea. That's just a small
Tea.
route to getting to tea.
Yeah.
Teapot lid, so lid, which is a quid, is where we got to squid.
It still doesn't
Got
really
it.
make sense.
That last bit is where it falls off completely.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense.
This is when they have to ask their British actors like Lauren or Andrew if this makes sense.
It doesn't.
Neither of them are Cockney,
falls
so
off
it's
the
still
cliff.
not going to be.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
I
not.
mean, usually when it comes to these things, it's just the one thing. So departed soul, souls of feet. So like you just do souls or feet.
At the end of the day, I'm just really excited to hear yet another term for walkers.
Me too.
I know.
I love
Me too.
hearing
And an
more
interesting one at
terms.
that.
All right.
Yep.
I think this is probably the most interesting one we've got.
Unique.
All the other
Okay.
ones have
Oh, yeah.
explain like biter, growler,
Yep.
skin bag. Squid takes some explanation.
I will say the first one we ever heard is the weirdest, and being geeks.
Mm,
Well, that's the second one because Morgan said walkers first, I guess. But
mhm. Okay, I do have a question because normally Cockney slang, as far as I know, it's a thing. Stairs, apples and pears rhymes with it, so that's where you get it. It's not a slew of them in a row to get to another word.
That's what I was saying.
So that's
yeah.
what I'm a little bit confused about. So if anybody is watching this that is Cockney, if you could please comment so I can understand why such a long line. Because now I get it. If you're saying from the very beginning, we're talking departed souls,
Well,
fine. But quid to squid made no sense to me. Because when he did that whole line, I was like, oh, he's just giving examples of Cockney slang. And then he gets to quid, and I'm like, how does money have anything to do with the dead people? I'm so confused.
I'm trying to find deeper cut, and I'm finding them. Like almonds. Almond refers to alarm. Give us an almond. Give us an alarm. Just because it sounds like
Well, maybe
alarm,
if-
almonds.
if you add an S to quid, but then you switch the S back around to the front, then it becomes squid. Quids, squid.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Okay, syrup of figs. Fig means wig.
Okay.
Just, right?
Yeah, but they're direct correlations. That's what I don't understand with this. Is like it
No.
would have made more sense if it was departed souls and then it was something that rhymed with departed souls.
Bowls.
Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
That would have made more
I
sense
agree.
to me.
So it started with departed souls, and then people kept adding on to it until finally it morphed into squid.
Squid.
Yeah, I got one. I got one that's a lot simpler. So departed souls rhymes with bowls. Then we think of Sam Anderson, who had a bowl haircut, which cost a quid. Quid is squid. There
You're
you
an
have it.
idiot. You're an idiot.
You're welcome,
His
Stephen
mother
Merchant.
cut his hair
didn't
and
cost
cost
him
him
anything.
nothing, Dave.
Exactly.
No, but it was the principle of the matter. You had to give something.
Quid pro
The quid.
quo.
Yeah. So let's go to the Westminster crossing just for a sec, just so I can show you another screenshot of the actual checkpoint. You couldn't get all of it unless you paused at the right moment. Something about the way the sun was shining, but observe curfew. It's basically 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. In at night or shot on site. Love the little
Oh.
rhyming. I feel, and I think Sharon probably thought this as well. I think a lot of this has to do with, it's been a little under 10 years since Brexit. That's where a lot of the whole sealing off the Chunnel comes from. They basically sealed England off, or the UK off, from the rest of the world, or at least the island, Wales, England, Scotland, etc. Do you think that may have been what was expressed here? It's like, well, yes, you did seal everything off and everything was good for a little while, but then instead of blaming Europe for your problems, you blamed yourselves eventually because you had nobody else to blame. That sort of situation is the sentiment. Whether it's true or not is a whole other story.
It also said that you had to have a British passport to enter.
That's
Mhm.
exactly it. Yeah, I
Mhm.
should have taken a screenshot of that, but as they were walking to the gate, yeah.
Dave, really, for looking at this from like through the lens of the apocalypse, I don't know that it even needs to be like topical or anything like that. It's just that there becomes a tribe mentality, like us versus them mentality, that just occurs naturally.
Well,
You
especially
don't-
if you came from a place where things were provided for and didn't have to
It just
worry
occurs. It occurs. I think it occurs in everything. I mean, take a look at COVID. It was very us versus them. Eventually, in a world in which you have less resources, it becomes about resources, and you don't want to share them with people outside of who you view as part of your tribe. And then I think it's a statement on probably living on an island, period. That's always the risk that you run, is you can close yourself off to the outside world, but when does it become a prison?
about.
And
Right, that's the road I wanted to go down.
when do you get trapped there? Because earlier you were saying that being on the coast, you have more avenue. But if you're on the coastline and you get attacked from the land side and you don't have a boat, you're trapped there. What are you going to do? Swim to Spain?
Yeah.
That is not the best place to be. And even if they tried to close England off, they can't close off every port. They can close off the tunnel that people can't walk there anymore, but you still have miles and miles and miles of empty coastline that can be landed on. So shutting yourself off like that is not really a viable option anyway.
Well, it's more of like they seal themselves in the city and everything else is buffer zone. Everything else is out there, which kind of makes sense. And if you look at Britain's geography or topography, I could see that being a thing. Because if you've ever driven anywhere outside of London or further out from London, because I feel like everybody kind of congregated in London, if I'm not mistaken. It was a bit of traveling from the Chunnel all the way to London. And even Daryl was saying how we didn't see much of the living or much of the dead either. So maybe there wasn't anything. Maybe they did properly seal themselves off for a time. If you're crazy enough to kind
For
of
a little while.
take to the seas, yeah. Then maybe they were too busy dealing with other stuff to actually take to the seas.
You look at medieval times, they built castles with moats and etc. And that was because when they were attacked, all of the farmers in the outer lands that could make it would come to the castle behind the walls and be safe. So yes, I mean, that would be the natural thing for everybody to do. But then you have all these people crammed into this tiny little place. I just watched a documentary about Andersonville Prison, which was a notorious Confederate prison during the Civil War. It was in Georgia, and it was 26 acres, and it was built for like 3,300 men. But in the end, they had 45,000 men in there. And they had...
Did you say 3,300 men?
Yes.
But it was 40... Wow.
Yeah. So disease, big problem. No sanitation, no clean air, no clean water. And you have to imagine that's the same kind of thing that's going to happen in an enclave like London. If you have all the people from the surrounding countryside and cities, everything coming to London, not only are you going to have people who die and turn to walkers, but you've got all the disease that's going to come with that because you don't have proper sanitation anymore. You don't have clean water. There's not enough food. And all those people are going to starve to death or they're going to die of disease.
Are you saying that, like Poupe, they didn't let it flow?
Correct. The Thames, which neither one of them seem to recognize, I don't understand that. But anyway, the Thames obviously is flowing, but how dirty is that going to be? It's kind of dirty right now. Like, I wouldn't swim in the Thames River.
But after a while, not a lot of flushing toilets.
No, but
maybe it is clean.
But what are they doing with all the sewage in London? Dumping it right back into the Thames.
It flowed. It flowed out into the sea.
And then there's, you got bodies and all the other things falling in the water. That's disgusting.
That's the problem you're going to have. Well, and look at how they were crowding on, was it London Bridge?
Right,
like
right.
That, the base of it.
Why, you know what?
It's a place.
They missed such a great opportunity to have London Bridge fall down. I was like, London Bridge is going to fall. Come on.
Well, but they drew it up, so there was no opportunity for it to fall. But that wasn't the point, because you remember the whole thing about London Bridge falling was that back then it was like a place where vendors would sell their wares.
Right.
And eventually it piled up, and the whole thing was that it eventually weighed down and that it fell.
They had like homes and stuff were built on it.
Yeah.
I did not
or like
know
at least
that.
like structures.
Now,
yeah.
There's another London Bridge that is currently in Lake Havasu, Arizona. A man bought London Bridge. They dismantled it brick by brick. They numbered all the bricks so they knew where to put them back when they brought it to it. But they shipped it to America and rebuilt London Bridge in Lake Havasu, Arizona. It's there now. You can go see it.
I want to know.
Dennis said that Robert McCullough, who started the McCullough Chainsaw Line, is the one who bought it and brought it over here.
Gotcha. Thanks, Dennis.
He said, thanks, Dennis.
That's right.
Yep.
You don't have to go to the past or England, but it's different now.
I appreciate that they brought Big Ben into it. That was really cool.
Well, they're right in Westminster, too.
Yeah.
So it makes it, which is, by the way, if you ever stay in England, it's one of the cheaper areas to stay in for some reason.
If I ever get out of the U.S.
Yeah. Just in
I've
case
never
it
been out of
happens.
the United States, so
Just don't stay in
eventually.
Whitechapel.
Say never.
To be fair, there's plenty to look at here also, Rob. So don't
No,
feel
That's
bad.
what
I
was
love
saying.
this
Don't feel
country.
bad.
Don't get me wrong,
Same here.
but I do want to experience things outside.
I was there, but I was an infant, so I've zero recollection, and they almost didn't let my parents take me back. So
What? While you were there?
You could
yeah.
be part of the royal family right now, Bridget.
They
It's
stole
true.
you.
My dad had black hair. My mom had very dark brown hair, and they had a little redheaded baby who looked like neither of them.
stole some Scottish, baby.
Yeah, I didn't need a passport to get over there, but they had to go to the embassy and get me a passport in order to get me
Sounds
back
like
home.
I'd be having that issue. That's my kid.
I recently
Yeah.
researched this
Kid.
too, by the way. If you have a baby abroad, you weren't born abroad, were you?
No.
Okay. If you're an American citizen and you have a baby abroad, it's not like here where you can be a citizen. You literally have to file papers to record it and file paperwork in America to make that baby an official citizen. It's quick, but you still have to do it. It came up recently in a conversation I had. But going back to what you were saying about, because I had said this before about Japan, like I didn't want to come back, but then I was recently in Connecticut and we drove around a little bit and I had a moment. I said, this country is pretty great too. There's so many cool little things to see that probably go unnoticed and they aren't on tourist maps, but it's just the feel and the culture of this country. There's so much of it that you take it for granted, but there's so many cool little things, quirky little things that people do in little towns.
Rachel and I
Here and
told you,
there.
Dave, it doesn't matter where we go. We want to live wherever we are vacationing. It doesn't matter where it is.
That's one of the things I love about driving around traveling is I get to see things that normally I wouldn't. And it can be anything, like a little fairy house built into somebody's tree that I pass, or a neat mural that I pass on a building. And I've been all over this country, and there is plenty to see here.
And some of that stuff just isn't in travel guides and books and stuff like that. It's just, oh yeah, there's a church here that you might want to check out, blah, blah, blah. That's what actually got me on that thought process, because I was thinking, look at this beautiful church in this small little town. And it's so gorgeous. And I thought to myself, well, that would never show up on can you imagine a tourist from Japan hearing about this church in nowhere, Connecticut, coming out to rural North, and they're snapping photos, because I was just in Japan. That's why it's in my head. And they're like, oh, look. And they're like, what are you doing, sir? And I'm like, oh, I heard about this beautiful church in nowhere, Connecticut, where they don't call it nowhere, but I'm calling it nowhere. And they're celebrating it. And like, is that how we are in their country?
Maybe.
About their middle of nowhere rural shrine in Japan, rural Japan. Oh, this is where they got their inspiration from Breath of the Wild. Listen, I'm going on a thing, but going back to the episode.
Dave went on a Nintendo journey.
Yeah, learning to appreciate where you are, because eventually this is going to be a theme that repeats also. This is repeated for several seasons. Season 1, season 2. What are we doing here? Why don't they go back to America already? Right? The whole thing. Go back to Rick. He's obviously home. Well, no, I'm here now. People need your help. You need to live while you're alive. You need to, for wherever you are, because you don't know if your ticket's going to get punched tomorrow. So while you're here, make an impact while you're here. Whether it's saving people or whatever, feeding people or finding a way out of somewhere or snuggling your sweetie, as Rachel hates when I say.
So I think John Lennon summed this up really well in a song. And he said, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
One of my favorite things is growing up too.
I mean, I've been working on this. It's still a focus in my life, but contentment with where you are. There's so much we're being fed constantly every day in social media to tell you, like, you need to have this to be happy, or your house should look like this, or your husband should act this way, or you as a wife should act this way, and blah, blah, blah. But really, why waste so much time worrying about that when I could just be happy with the things that I do have? Because there are people in this world that don't have a house or food or don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yeah.
Definitely try to do that every day.
Yeah.
As long as I have a roof over my head, food in my belly, I'm happy.
Yep.
And that's the thing. That's what this episode, at least so far, I don't know if the rest of the season is trying to express, is that two things can be true. There is abundance. There's so much scotch. There's not enough people to drink it. But there is scarcity. And wherever you go, you'll find people that are walled in, so they can't get to all the scotch, right? Or the hot dogs and cans. So there is scarcity for these people. They can't have access to it, whatever. It may feel like today in our life, in our waking life, that we have things. Well, look, we go to the grocery store. There's so much food to eat. But a storm, a blackout comes, people raid the shelves. I've been there and they're all gone. And there's not enough to eat. And now you're wondering, oh, wait, where's my next meal coming from?
Yeah, Dave, but they only take bread, eggs, and milk. I don't know why.
And toilet
because
paper,
your
she
power
said.
is going to be out. But damned if they're not making French toast.
So you also looked at the news coming out in New York after Superstorm Sandy.
Well, it happens here every time there's a hurricane. Warning.
I took photos too.
I go to the store and there's no bread. Or if there is bread, it's like the cheapest bread.
Let them say there's going to be a snowstorm here. It's going to snow an inch, and it's like, oh, forget it. The grocery stores are all empty.
Yeah.
We're going to be trapped for a day.
Every time I'm like, why are you not buying canned goods? I don't understand. Why are you getting the perishables? Why is that your go-to? You know what? No, keep doing it.
There is an answer. There's an answer.
Keep doing it. I'm
I know
happy
they're going
that
to
you
keep
do
doing it, but there is an answer. Is because just like you, Bridget, you have faith that you'll pass through this moment quickly. That there will be a tomorrow.
But I don't, though.
Oh, but like in your heart of hearts and your Jesus heart.
It's conditioning.
Rachel, you're on mute. The big facial reactions.
Back when folks had an ice box and they didn't have to worry about it being electric. They just kept ice in a refrigerator and like, oh, we're gonna have a storm. The milkman better bring us some milk, and then they'd stick it in there. And then that's what their parents did, and then that's what their parents did, and that's what you. So that's what you learned.
Is you just shop faster.
Yeah.
I did not actually. I'm a doomsday prepper here, so there's food stores in my house. Don't come here.
Tubs of Patriot.
You're bringing that stuff
stores.
you're bringing that stuff when you relocate to a mountain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, safety in numbers, right?
Yeah.
Right, Rachel?
Yeah.
Here, I just picking on you. Oh, you're not on mute. Okay. Because she made like this big reaction, like visual reaction, like, well, I just want to hear this sultry.
Because I continually
Rachel.
tell you that that's not true about me, and yet you're always like, well, you believe in Jesus, so that must be what you think every time.
Yeah, I listen.
Was it the Jesus heart thing?
I've tokenized it. It's fine.
Bridget's got faith in Jesus, just not in other people.
Amen, sister.
Catch 22.
Exactly.
I have grace, just not a lot of it. Turn the other cheek. Well, that's
Look,
exercise.
His mercies are new every morning, not mine.
I did not have enough time to mute that cough. I lost my lungs. See if there's any other Easter eggs. Okay, this was an interesting one because right from the beginning of the episode, you're on the cliffs of Dover or Seven Sisters or wherever the hell it was. They said Seven Sisters, whatever. But you see a quote from R.M. Rilke, right? Which stands for Rainer Maria Rilke. And the poem is...
So excited. I forgot about it. I'm so excited.
All right, okay. The poem is called Requiem for a Friend or / Paula Modersohn Becker. The poem is about Paula Modersohn Becker. She was an early expressionist painter, and she and Rainer Maria Rilke were friends. The poet was Austrian, so the poem was originally in Austrian, but the poem has been translated in English so that you could read it in the episode. One of the few Austrian poets, by the way, that wrote in Austrian German. Starts off with, I have my dead and I have let them go. Hence repeating the theme of letting go of the past to move on to the present. Having your dead, remembering them well, and moving into a transitional period of allowing yourself to remember someone fondly without having that memory be filled with sadness. So processing grief and letting go. Death and life are inseparable was the meaning of the poem. And true love means embracing both one's life and death. Learning to accept that and integrate it into your life. That both things are necessary to live properly. Kind of like the scarcity versus F it, live mentality. Save the hot dogs or drink the scotch. Same thing. One might even say it's a union of opposites. It's the unicursal hexagram from Revival. Rob, you don't know what I'm talking about, but
Nope.
If you watch Revival and our coverage of Revival, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
Eventually. Been busy.
maybe. I highly recommend that show. It's very funny, too. Not as funny as us, but I'm not going to read the poem.
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
But Bridget's very excited about this poem.
I am. Okay, so here's the thing. You got to remember, your girl was a very emo in the early 2000s, okay? And Rainer Maria Rilke is a sad boy. And so this was... I
Upon
was all
the
about
death
this.
and loss of Paula Modersohn Becker.
I was all about this because, one, your girl also had a Sylvia Plath phase. So you can guess how broody and mopey I was. But there was also an emo band from Madison, Wisconsin that came out in like the late 90s to mid 2000s called Rainer Maria, which is the whole reason I even knew who Rainer Maria Rilke was. Is because I liked the band and then I ended up finding out about the poet. Anyway, beautiful poetry. Truly, but he's a sad boy, and I was a sad girl, and so I was very into it.
So let me read the first couple of lines because this was mentioned in the explanation that I read. I have my dead, and I have let them go, and was amazed to see them so contented. The dead, so soon at home in being dead, so cheerful, so unlike their reputation of, oh, they're dead, so they're probably sad. Only you return, brush past me, loiter, try to knock against something. So the dead have visited their world. They're an apparition now. Oh, don't take from me what I'm slowly learning. I'm sure you've gone astray. If you are moved to homesickness for something in this dimension, we transform these things. They aren't real. They are only the reflections upon the polished surface of our being. This is us imagining them being in our world, when really they're at peace. We see what we want to see in death. It's a projection. They must be so sad. They must want to come back. No, that's not true. And so in reading this, but it's a very long poem. That's just the first stanza. But it's about integrating what we imagine it to be to what it actually is. There's a peaceful element to death and crossing over. And a lot of what you're feeling right now is of the self. It's your loss. It's them not being in your orbit. It's very self-centered, essentially. It's your grief, and you're entitled to it. But you have to learn after a while to let go of that grief and to integrate all the wonderfulness of that person while you're alive, and then knowing that they are at rest now. And now you have to celebrate their life. Anyway, sad boy poetry. It's kind of cool. Did you want me to read more, Bridget? More sad boy poetry?
Yeah, I love it.
But for the sake of everybody else, no. Oh, I liked the little reference to bat-ish crazy.
It was very clever.
I thought it would have been something that we would have brought up that, oh, that's where that comes from. We did not at the time, at the end of
I didn't know that was a thing. Like, I didn't even think about that.
I very much enjoyed the opera binoculars Carol used to see into the distance.
Me too.
Very English prop opera, Shakespeare theater heavy. Daryl hating the Scots because of his one experience with Scottish people in the Chunnel.
I slowly realize more and more I am Daryl Dixon.
Yeah. I was just commenting on this with Evelyn because I got very sick when I was in Uruguay last year. And I said, at least I didn't blame, because I got sick from Argentina, from food in Argentina. At least I didn't blame the country for, oh, it's an awful country because I was sick in it. At least I wasn't Daryl Dixon is basically what I said to her. Is to blame all Scots for that one experience with Scottish people.
Well, you try having a French foreign exchange student eat your birthday cake when you're 9, Dave.
He thought it was a free-for-all.
Can someone tell me, how did Carol get hurt? I totally missed that.
Dude, I have no idea.
She was struggling with Walker Julian on the beach. And like we were saying about craggy things, there was a bit of driftwood and metal or whatnot, like twisted metal, which I've been watching on Peacock, by the way. And it's pretty great. And she fell backwards onto it. You sort of get a quick, you can see, I can see how you might have missed it.
I didn't even catch that because I thought she was just hurt
fell.
from the
I didn't
shipwreck.
catch that she got.
I thought she just got tossed around the shipwreck or something. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's where she got that from. You have to cut some stuff. What? Like, would you trust Daryl as your surgeon, by the way? Or your, you know what I mean? Like, even on a first aid level.
Honestly, yes.
Like, because you want his hands on you.
Guy's got wilderness survival.
He survived.
So I think he would.
I'll just bite down on some bark, Daryl.
And it's a good thing they didn't drink all the scotch because he had it for disinfectant.
Shut up.
Daddy like?
Ew, shut up.
You were saying daddy, John Goodman daddy energy earlier, which I was like, I'm not getting involved.
No, I said not
I'm saving that for later.
I said not that.
All I heard was daddy energy. Or not daddy energy. I put that in your head.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
We got the...
Oh my God.
We got it. Let's bring it home. Oh, okay. Here's another one.
All right, I gotta tell you, I know what thick plot armor Carol has, and even in that moment, for like a second, I'm like, she's not bit, right?
Did you think she was gonna die in this episode? Because there were like 2 times when I thought like something's wrong.
No, I didn't think she was gonna die, but like when he was kind of looking at that wound, right? And then he comes out and he shows his hand with blood on it. I'm like, no,
I know.
No.
It's because they wanted to make you think that. That's why they didn't automatically. They'll just show you the wound, right? They wanted you to say, "Oh, she got bit somewhere. Julian bit her."
But what I'm saying, despite how much plot armor I know she wears, it got me. They succeeded because I was like, wait a minute.
Even if she got bit, she'd be like immune. Here's immunity.
I'm like, if anyone's immune, it's her, right?
I actually, at the end of this episode, I was like, oh God, what if something did happen to Carol? And then I was like, wait, I've seen screenshots of later in the season. Never mind.
Yeah.
Not even just that. Right after it ends, they show you like what's to come and she's just back
And
with
she's
Daryl.
right
Like,
there,
I
yeah.
turn
so this
that off.
cliffhanger meant nothing.
I turn that
Yeah,
off every
I
time.
turn it
I'm like,
off too,
I don't
yeah.
want to know. I don't want to know.
I missed.
I
I know.
don't.
I normally do, but
Ooh, be
I
afraid
let
of
it go
Carol,
this
but
time.
here she is in the next
So-
frame. She's just fine. No
Right.
worries.
Yeah. Where is she? Oh, she's right here, guys. Don't worry.
Oh, she's just
Oh,
outside
she's-
the frame, guys.
she's just
Well,
peeing.
if they do
Yeah.
that, because all the Carol fans are like, well, I'm not going to watch anymore if she's hurt. So
Oh
they
my
have to
gosh,
like
if she's
show
not
them that
here.
she's okay, so they'll come back.
Right,
Yeah, don't
right.
leave
Here's
us
some
in.
spoiler photos. Does that mean you really appreciated this episode because it made you feel something that you didn't expect yourself to feel?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This episode, I'm trying to like get my words right because this episode
Sure.
was very strange. I enjoyed it. I need to start off by saying I did really enjoy the episode. A lot happened in this episode, but nothing happened at the same time. It was weird, but I really
traveled.
liked it. There were like so many tiny little snippets of things, and then they like put it all together, which I did really enjoy it. And yes, like they got me a few times, and I realize I'm saying like a lot, and now I'm very aware of it, and which is making me say it more. So
I
thank you,
did
David.
not say anything. But
No, I know, but
hey,
I can
we're
hear
here.
you. Like you're
In the editing.
I can hear. No, I can hear you.
Bitch
Yeah,
with their likes.
I can hear future David going like.
We're gonna
7,
try to
8,
stop saying
9, 10.
and likes.
I feel like I've gotten better at the but it's like that I can't control.
No.
I have. You shut up. I have gotten better. I'm not saying
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
perfect.
you, yeah.
But I've
I was
gotten
just thinking of
better.
Bridget.
Oh
just
no,
now.
me. I'm trying very hard with the
What the
But here's
hell?
the thing.
She is not
Here's the
lessened at
thing.
all.
Look, I am who I am.
I
Yeah,
think this goes
that's
for
what I
all of
figured.
us. If we don't say sometimes it's not clear
Someone
that we're
will
still
die?
thinking. No, sometimes it's not clear that we're still thinking, and then there's a lull in the conversation, which allows someone to pick up and start talking while we're still trying to think. So the is important, and it lets the room know we're still thinking.
It's true.
Am I right? Right?
Yeah, it is true.
You're
It is
absolutely
true.
right.
So
I'm
our
so
scary
curious.
horseback riding horned
Barbarians.
Mm-hmm.
first of all, super intriguing. I'm like, ooh, yes, right?
Oh, okay.
Like, this
Not hokey.
is okay. No, not at all. I think this is something that would definitely. I don't know what their story is yet, but I think this is
She
definitely
did like
something
the
that would
sexy
happen.
okay, right? Are we all in agreement?
Huh?
Yeah.
She
was-
okay.
Yeah, she did.
I hope they find me.
I did my okay. So that
Thank
being
you.
said,
I just didn't want that to go unnoticed because
okay, maybe we'll see.
Rob's
I mean,
dying.
horseback.
Yeah,
They're
This
on
is great.
horseback. They've got horns. I mean, come on.
Muscles,
What more?
horns,
What you know?
bones.
They're
It's her whole
muscular.
thing.
It was like all
they
shadowy,
look
but
dead,
like you
but
know
they're really
mus-
not.
Yeah, you know they probably
Yeah.
have like tons of tattoos for sure.
Super
You know
healthy.
they're
Mhm.
you know they're
Though
tatted.
they look
Anyway,
dead, it's perfect.
yes. I mean, what was I saying? So
You were getting to the part
yeah,
where it's like,
I was.
wait, but this is sus.
Daryl, Carol, they're under their little canopy. They got the lights on. They're trying to sleep, right? Because Carol's super sick and she's got a fever, and they're going through the boat. So I realized the ocean waves cause a fair amount of noise, but Carol was really loud. She was really, really loud, and she's like, "I need air, you guys!" And I was like, "Shut up! They're so gonna
I need
hear
Waffle
you."
House.
And then
That's
here
the
comes
tone.
trotting up one of these guys on his horse, so close that their face is
See the
illuminated
reflection.
with the fire. And he's so
Yeah.
close. And then he takes the torch and he does one of these and he passes it by. And I'm like, they're right there. What? How do you not? How did he not see them?
Because he's only seeing out of two little eye holes in that mask.
Yeah, to be fair, the mask is probably prohibiting a lot of things.
Well, then he should probably lose it.
Yeah.
I think they might have been a cloudy sky too.
What does the sky have to do? Their faces were
I'll tell
clearly
you.
illuminated in the torch.
It reminded me of Lord of the Rings.
Reminded me of Lord of the Flies.
Okay.
Yeah,
Lord
keep
of the
saying
Rings.
more.
Okay, it's the scene with what are they? The Nazgul.
Right, the ring wraiths.
They come up and there's like one rider, and the hobbits are hiding down below a little hollowed out log. You know, they've got their mouths covered and stuff, and he's like right over them. And it reminded me so much of that. That's all I can
But at
think
least
of.
they were
Charity's like,
down
yes,
below.
yes.
Like he's up here and they're down below. This was
Well,
He's
I
like
think
literally at their feet.
no, I
Yeah.
think they jacked the perspective.
Yeah, the
because
shots
the
are really
light,
tight.
Yeah.
the light is actually coming from like this way. So I think he's actually up behind them, not to their front, which is what it kind of
Or to
the
their
way
side.
they did it.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of looked like. Like
It
Carol
did.
was directly facing him, but the
Yes.
light is coming from this way. So he's up above them. So, and I think there's more rock cover that way. That's why he couldn't see them.
okay, maybe because the eye line from Daryl and Carol looks like they're looking right
I know.
at him.
I know.
I was also wondering, you have this dual problem when it comes to filming too. This is like the Fear the Walking Dead season 4 problem. Okay, so you're trying to show a night scene, and this is like where they invented the whole blue light thing where you shoot in at day, but it looks like night. Anyway,
Night for day. Yeah.
night for day. Yeah, that's
day
the,
for night. Day for night.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about this filming method where you're filming in day, but it looks like night because the way you're filming it digitally.
Very obvious, and it's used too frequently, and it looks bad
Well,
a lot
now,
of the time.
yeah. But then you have this other dual problem, which is the Game of Thrones problem. The last season with the Whites and the White Walkers coming to Winterfell. It's super dark. It's I looked at the sky. I felt like it was a cloudy sky. There's no moon, no stars, but you still have to show the actors without not showing them. That was my rationale, is that it was so dark, and then you're lighting a torch across the scene where ostensibly it's very, very dark, but you still, as the viewer, have to see the actors and the people who are in the scene. Otherwise, you can't see anything. So pick your complaint. It's you're either complaining about it's too dark, I can't see, I have to turn up the brightness on my TV, or hey, I saw the torchlight on their faces. Why didn't he see them?
Good point.
Another thing about the sound, though, just the only 100% for sure thing that I can account for is that when Carol was on the beach and her vision was blurry and whatnot, she saw Walker Julian. She couldn't hear him, but if you had headphones on, you could hear Walker Julian's like Walker sounds that he was making. It was just like you said, the crashing waves were covering up the sound.
Sure.
So that could have been muffled. And she was like saying, "I need air." She wasn't screaming.
It was pretty loud. It was pretty loud.
I mean, it was audibly loud for you, the viewer, but I don't think just based
for
on her
someone trying
depleted,
to be quiet.
Yeah, or just like I need air.
She wasn't trying to be quiet. I was like, shut up, you idiot. I was so mad at her in that moment. I was
But
like,
like-
what is
She was,
wrong
like,
with
delusional.
you?
Yeah, but putting myself
I
in
get it.
Rachel's shoes, she already passed through a hard moment thinking she might die. So this makes sense, actually, when you think about it.
I'm just going to throw this out here. Do we think that, yes, those people look very intimidating because of the horns and masks and all that stuff, but do you think that's just a facade, that they're actually not the main antagonists going into the season? Because we know he's going to end up with other people. Because I find the most civilized, the ones that hold on to the like older ways, tend to be the most malicious. And I feel like the ones that go back to like barbarian ways would be like the most rational in a way.
Well, they're willing to acclimate instead of trying to cling on to something that doesn't exist anymore.
Or
Yes,
that
but
can
do you
exist.
think they're hostile in that way?
Do you
Mhm.
think that the barbarians and the people in the Jeep are the same group?
I don't.
No.
That's
But I
an
mean-
interesting thought, though.
They could be. I just didn't think that.
They're just play acting for the nighttime. They're like, oh, I
Maybe.
did see them, but I want to make them think I didn't see them, right, Rachel?
Yeah.
What if a boat has washed up on shore? Let's get scary in case there's somebody there we need to intimidate.
They're really into Lord of the Rings. That's it.
There you go.
That was pretty good, Dave.
Thank you. I can't comment on this because I did see the episode or Insider and the lead into that, and I think I saw something that would skew my answer, so I'm not going to.
I'm not gonna answer.
So did you see that the boat was named Not Alone, K-N-O-T?
Yes,
Mhm.
I didn't write that down in my
Alone.
notes.
Yeah, that was so cute.
K-N-O-T.
And also
Very clever.
sad. Poor Julian.
Not anymore. K-N-O-T. He was with people at the end.
Do you think Daryl was trying to send him back to England when he pushed him out into the water? Here you go. Go back
Yes.
to England, Julian.
Or like be one with the sea and travel. Maybe you'll make it to actually America. Find another dead body of a girl and you'll get together and be dead together.
Look here, look here, Tim Burton.
That's probably the dumbest thing I've ever said.
Why don't you calm down? If you're going to cast Helena Bonham Carter in your movie, shut up, Dave. Just kidding. Not anymore. I'm pretty sure he cheated on her.
You
and
mean
they're divorced
KNOT?
now.
Not anymore.
This is it. This is going to be the thing now. Oh.
I know you guys noticed that the opening music and the art style changed.
Yes.
Yes.
In the title sequence.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
really liked
The
it.
really close-up painting they showed right at the beginning made me think of the Saturn one that we saw in Dead City.
Was it the brutalist?
Saturn eating.
Saturn devouring his
Saturn
children.
devouring. Yes.
Mm.
Very bold brush strokes, not fine, delicate painting.
In oil, yeah. Which is the theme that carries over
Goya?
from the first title sequence.
Goya? Am I making that
Oh,
up?
yeah,
Yeah,
Goya,
Goya.
that's
Okay.
right.
I was like,
Francisco
it's
Goya?
something.
Well, on top of that, so things that carry over that link it to the first title sequence is the oil paintings, right? But
Mhm.
the music also is the same, but in a different,
Right. It's the
Yeah,
same
it's
music,
just
it's
the
different
style.
style.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and you'll be happy to know it's the same composer.
Almost like a flamenco style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's some of that Spanish guitar. It requires like more fingering instead of like strumming.
Yeah, finger style.
That's
Yep.
what she said.
I know. I had to fix it. I'm going to
Look here, Dave.
fingering channel.
Finger picking
Just
is
saying.
a thing.
Finger picking, yes, not fingering.
Look, I said what I said. Just grow up.
Yeah, I know you did. It's just
Grow up, you pervs.
don't finger your channel. But it's the same composer, David Sardi, which is a relief. It's well, you don't want to get rid of the old to make way for the new. So I thought it was kind of cool. The visuals are cool. The oil paintings of Daryl and Carol, I particularly enjoyed. Tickled me. Instead of what they did in the first 2 seasons were kind of like animated. Well, do you remember seeing like the animated Daryl looking down on Paris in the
I
first
didn't
season?
hear anything you said after tickled me.
I love that you just look at the screen. Dave's still talking. You and I both go, ugh.
Yeah, so the channel fingering tickled me. Tickled me. Yeah, there we go. There's the trifecta, as it were.
Yes, I remember the animated Daryl.
There wasn't any of that in this title sequence. It
You
was-
said animated Daryl, and I had this vision of like Daryl and like Scooby Doo out attire. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like that.
Zoinks, Rick.
Does that mean Carol is Scooby Doo?
Daphne.
Because
Velma.
Daryl is obviously Shaggy.
She's
Scrappy, if
Scrappy-Doo.
anybody.
Oh, she is Scrappy Doo.
Ruh-roh-rarrel.
No, I think she's graduated to Scooby Doo because she's like she said, she's lighter. She's excited to look forward to things.
Well,
Like
Scooby's
Scrappy Doo was trying to
scared.
pick fights.
She's not carrying her hot dogs at Scooby Snacks.
I didn't like that
dogs,
conversation. It
Fingering
alludes,
Chuck.
it alludes to something that I'm like, I'm scared now. The fact that she's looking forward to her future has me terrified.
Yeah.
And it should have all of you terrified as well, just so you know.
Oh, because that's when people go.
That's when people die.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
But not Carol. She has plot armor.
But does she have plot armor forever?
I don't know. They scared us this episode. They might be preparing us
I
for something.
mean, Ned Stark had plot armor too, and
Everyone's like, Sean Bean, surely they wouldn't
Quinn.
kill him off.
And then I find out that I forget which podcast did this, but they basically they did a whole thing, a segment that they would repeat how Sean Bean died. It's an actual podcast, by the way, which I will now include a link
He's
to.
died in a
all
lot
the
of
ways in
things,
which Sean
Dave.
exactly
Mhm.
same as Xander Berkeley, because Xander Berkeley complained about this in interviews. He said in every single thing he dies painfully. I do want to touch on the Alfred Lord Tennyson elegy. Julian was mentioning to Daryl, this is like in the same conversation about, oh, this will be the last scotch in the world, blah, 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 all that stuff. Eventually, all of history, all our cultural significance, all gone in a poof. He mentions this because he says, 'tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. And he says, you have the blues, we have Tennyson. And I wanted to dig in a little bit more on this. Tennyson basically said this in an elegy / memorial to Arthur Henry Hallam, this AHH. And it was written after the death of his closest friend. The full line is, I hold it true, whate'er befall, I feel it when I sorrow most. 'Tis better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. Which is sad for Julian, who was not alone at the end of his days. But the real reason why I wanted to bring this up is, how do you propose that Julian died?
Oh,
Possibly the head injury from the boom.
it's the head wound.
Specifically what? Concussion is what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. He fell asleep because you could see he was getting sleepy and then his eyes kind of closed, never to have opened again.
Well, they did.
Well, not as him. And Rachel was 10% more attracted to him as a result.
I don't know what it is
Facts.
about you like this, but suddenly I'm really into Stephen Merchant.
He's funny. He's dead. What's not to like?
He's a very good looking guy. Even more so now.
with his puffy eyes and his twisted mouth.
that pale white skin.
Well, that's not how you spell Mexico. What did you think about? I don't know. I don't care, actually.
Okay.
All right.
I was
Then.
going to talk about the dead people in the trees, but I was like, do I care?
I
Not
don't
really
care. No.
Traps,
Clever,
yeah.
fun. Some of it was dripping on him. I was like,
Yeah.
what the?
Do you think they were alive when they got put up in there, or do you think they were captured dead?
See, Rob saves it. That's
Mhm.
a great question.
Mm.
I didn't care. Now I do care. Is that a punishment?
Could be. I don't know. I feel like either could be true, but are they useful now? Are they using them?
I would say it's a great trap. If you hit if you chop the wire and the calm fall down on people.
Right.
It was just Walker
Yeah.
bomb someone, yeah.
Walker bomb.
Do you remember when we were breaking down the trailer for The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon? The thing that we focused on that was flying at whoever it was on fire.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you who saw the trailer, because I don't want to spoil whoever didn't see that. And we froze frame on it and it was like, is that something on fire?
Mm-hmm.
And the nets may have something to do with that too. Maybe.
Oh.
It might not be a net. It may be the trees are tied in such a way that if you hit a rope, those nets will go flying. You do the math on that. Rob saved the segment. I love it.
I just wanted Rob to go,
So Carol's peeing. Okay, we got
Yeah,
that.
Carol's peeing. That's pretty much what's happening.
She's just off frame. She's just squatting.
Daryl's
off
they're
frame.
screaming, Carol! And she's just like, hold on.
Why are you so
I'm
loud? Are you trying to get us caught?
I just needed to pee.
Once again, the cinematography is absolutely fantastic. Every shot.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's true.
No, they definitely put all the budget into this show.
If there are people who
They
are
did.
not watching this, I am so confused because arguably this is one of the best stories we've received in the Walking Dead universe. It's so interesting. It's weird. It's different, but I'm really thankful for that. I love the American South. Do not get me wrong. I live here, but we had damn near 12 years of it. Like it's just like we could
need a change
do
of
other
scenery.
things.
I need to live through other things. Yes, they threw a lot of money to this, but I'm still surprised that they did actually film some of those shots, obviously, in England. Those drone shots were of them on site in those locations. They weren't CG. They didn't put CG Carol and Daryl in the distance walking through the cliffs. That was actually them. So it is interesting.
I imagine it'd be quite expensive to film in like London, though.
Right, which is why they didn't. So like I was saying, they did throw a lot of money at it, but also saved on the budget, so they didn't have to film, let's say, in London.
Well,
that's why
I know they're giving tax credits too in Europe right now for filming, which is why a bunch of filming has moved over there and has really hurt Georgia in particular.
Oh yeah, I heard about that lately. Yeah,
as a podcast, we have actor friends who have had a hard time that started acting when a lot of filming moved to Georgia, and that became their livelihood, and suddenly now that livelihood is gone. But as a result, I think what you get is more bang for your buck in terms of being able to use this really beautiful scenery. So as sad as I am for our friends, I think that it's probably well worth the money that they're spending there to get such beautiful shots.
I agree. I had a thought when they were doing all the promo work. I think it was Thursday, actually, because I did see the early premiere at Rooftop Films events in Industry City in Brooklyn. That same day, they were in Spain, out in the streets promoting The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon on Spanish television somewhere. I don't know the exact details, but Walking Dead AMC was live tweeting it. It was in their stories. It was in their Instagram feed. It was in X. It was on Facebook too, all over. They did, I think, a compilation video on their YouTube channel. They even took time to shout us out at Rooftop Films. They sent a recording to Rooftop Films to tell people about the year. You're like, oh, thank you for being here in New York and blah, blah, blah. I mention this only because I had a thought while looking at all of this, which all of it's sweet, all of it's great, but do you remember that thing they were saying about every season of The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon? For starters, it films there, but it doesn't air there. That to me, I thought was pretty sad. I hope they figured that out, because in France, when it came out, the big complaint that they were receiving is that it's great that they're here. I'm glad we have access to Daryl and Carol, or Daryl at the time, but we don't get to see the show until it airs on Netflix, let's say, when the second season finally comes around, usually I think is what it is. But
yeah, they don't get to view it live like we do.
They don't have AMC Plus.
Yeah.
They have to download it basically in order to see it when we see it. So that was my thought process. As the days go on, I will look into that to see if they figured that out on network television.
Inevitably, someone
rightfully
is complaining about it
too, don't you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. But
you know why it doesn't air, right? Because in order for it to air, they have to license the show to a network partner in Europe, let's say. And then there's EU regulations and blah, blah, and it makes it very difficult. And you have to be really, really good. And you have to know that people are going to want to see it in order to air it so that they can pay for it via commercials, et cetera, et cetera. That's the reason why. There's no doubt in my mind that The Walking Dead has decreased in popularity. One could argue that it's because they're not airing their show across the pond, let's say. But the other argument is, well, it just costs too much to license.
as long as they have Sky and Now in the UK, but the official release date still isn't confirmed.
See, well, that's the problem, right?
They have to have a VPN to be able to access it over here. Really?
Right. Well, and a VOD account of some kind, right? Video on demand.
You'd have to have AMC Plus account
You'd
with
have
a
to
VPN.
have an AMC Plus account and be able
with
to
like a US credit card,
one, and then a VPN in order.
Which
to be
is
able to watch
again,
it.
quote unquote illegal, but why should it be? We got some very sad news over the weekend, actually, too, and that was the script supervisor Amy Blanc Lacey passed away in a car accident.
Oh.
Yeah, this was very recent. The date on this was September 6th, 2025, at least this article. In playersbio.com is where I found it, but it's in many places. And the cast and crew of The Walking Dead have been expressing their sorrow about this. She was the script supervisor on The Walking Dead. Let me read the article for you. Amy Blanc Lacey, a beloved mother and respected script supervisor in the Atlanta film community, passed away in a tragic car accident on September 1st, 2025. She was riding with her sons, Adrian and Oliver, when the vehicle was struck at high speed. While her children were treated for minor injuries and later discharged, Amy suffered critical trauma to her brain and spinal cord. She was placed in a coma and kept on life support. After careful consultation with medical professionals, her family made the heartbreaking decision to say goodbye. As shared by IATSE Local 161, Amy's loved ones were invited to visit her on September 3rd and 4th. Moreover, her body will be released from medical interventions on Friday, September 5th. Amy Blanc Lacey was a beloved member of the film community. She was a well-known script supervisor on the Atlanta film industry and a former cheerleader. She contributed to 4 major productions as a script supervisor, such as The Walking Dead, Loki, Halt and Catch Fire, and The Vampire Diaries. Many people credit her for giving them their first chance in the business. She was thoughtful, loving, and brought joy to every set she worked on. Beyond her work, Amy loved people, animals, and nature deeply, and she gave her heart to everything she did. Amy's passing has left a void in the heart of her family and the entire community. She was an organ donor, and more than 46 people will receive life-saving gifts from her. One of her friends asked for prayers and said, most of you in the film community know Amy as a script supervisor. She is directly responsible for Miracle Burns getting her first job in our industry. A gathering to honor her life will be held on Saturday, September 6th, which has already passed, from 2 to 5 in her home in Atlanta. Private green burial with her family will take place on Sunday, which is today. More celebrations of her life are planned for the future, which is great if you want to participate. Moreover, there's a GoFundMe page campaign, Help Amy Lacey's Family Through This Difficult Time, created by Tasha Widowen. The main purpose of this campaign is to support her children as they face the heartbreaking loss of their mother. The funds will help cover her funeral expenses and provide financial support for the challenging days ahead. Our heartfelt condolences go to Amy Blanc Lacey's family, friends, and well-wishers. Rest in peace, Amy. I will include the link to this GoFundMe campaign in the blog, obviously. I will also include it in the YouTube description as well as the podcast credits. If you head on over to social media, I've mostly been seeing this on Instagram by many folks behind the scenes on The Walking Dead. Many of the folks who you don't often hear from wrote lengthy captions in response to Amy Blanc Lacey's passing. Some of them were just absolutely beautiful. I highly encourage you to seek them out and really see what Amy meant to the folks behind and in front of the camera. Moving on to this series, which is also a celebration of her too and her legacy. I'm very much looking forward to see what this series has to offer. Dovetailing to what we just talked about, it's about processing grief. Also, the poem R.M. Rilke. Processing grief and integrating it, the concept of life and death into your lexicon, the way you remember your friends and your loved ones, and learning to remember them fondly for when they were alive, and learning to live while you're alive, and not just saving things for a rainy day, but learning to live and maybe participate in the now. Yeah, I've been your host, David Cameo, and I was joined by
CosmoMom09.
Lazy Gardner.
Bridget. You can find me at ko-fi.com/punkybrewster. That's PUNKYBRUISETER.
And I've been Rob. You can find me over at Rob Stuff and Things on TikTok and on YouTube.
And just remember that we are Squawking Dead. Thank you for making it to the end of yet another episode of Squawking Dead. This one covering our discussion on The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon's Season 3 premiere, titled Costa Da Morte. In Spanish, Costa, Coast da of Mort. In French, the Dead Coast, or Coast of the Dead, as Bridget put it so eloquently. Someday soon, we'll be canning the calls to action, which we'll insert somewhere in the episode. But in the meantime, if you like what you've heard, first things first, like this video wherever there's a like, comment with any questions, thoughts, feedback, things we missed in the comment section if there is one. And regardless of whether or not there is or isn't one, head on over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkydead 5 stars, and a driftwood is all we need to know that you love us, or whiskey, fine whiskey. But take the time to tell us what you like, tell us what you didn't like, tell us what you think we might have missed. It's possible that we missed something. I highly guarantee it. Just remember to tell us at the end of every single episode. It really does make a difference. It's been a while since we've received some or any. They're always a bit sparse and we could always use a little boost. It helps with visibility. And if you really like what we're doing, you can tip us on Ko-fi.com/squawkingdead and receive our unedited episode recordings for 30 days, forever access to our Discord server, as well as a whole host of other perks. Take your support further. Join a membership tier on either ko-fi.com/squawkingdead or patreon.com/squawkingdead. You'll get more access to our Discord with just a commitment of $4 a month, along with a whole host of other perks. Only one step up from the Walkers tier. If you join the Whisperers tier, you can join us on camera and mic alongside us like Rob did this episode. And if you happen to join the Survivors tier, you will be able to join our core channel on our Discord server, where we talk about all things behind the scenes, as well as drag you into development and meetings about our future as a junior producer. Take the time to check out those tiers I mentioned. They have reduced in price, we have consolidated them, and we've added way more value for half the price. That's our cue to mention who our Survivors and Whisperers tier members are, as it is a perk that they receive at the end of every single episode. Starting with the Survivors tier, well, let's skip the Survivors tier because we don't have any. And moving on to the Whisperers, among whom we have, first and foremost, Rob Lucchese, aka Rob Stuff and Things on TikTok. That's at Rob's Stuff _N as in Nancy _Thangs THANGS. Kim.Rowley, the #1 on Facebook. Skylar Rose PW on Instagram and X. I cannot wait to talk about the second episode of the season. We're finally in Spain to the meat of the story, and we have actually 6 more episodes to go. That's 7 episodes this season, and to close the book on whether this series is available in Spain to watch. Well, as a matter of fact, it is. A tweet by Eduardo Noriega, who plays Antonio, whom I hope we see in the next episode. He says the series is now available on AMC Plus España, which you can watch through Prime Video España, as well as Vodafone España, obviously. So there are some viewing options available. If I am mistaken, please correct me. I got this information straight from the actor, and I think what they've been trying to do is promote the ways in which one can watch The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon abroad, but not abroad because this episode, at least they filmed it in Galicia. I will not relent. That's how I heard it was pronounced, and that's how I will pronounce it. In any case, take care. See you soon. Can't wait. Love speaking to you guys and love getting feedback from you. Feel free. Communication lines are open. And remember, again, that we are Squawking Dead.